All right, let's talk about health. But today, we're going to challenge pretty much everything you thought you knew about what it means to be healthy, because as it turns out, your well-being might have less to do with your DNA and a whole lot more to do with what's right outside your front door. So let's dive in.
So let's just kick things off with a pretty wild question. Why does your zip code, yeah, your zip code, predict your health better than your genetic code? I know, it sounds kind of crazy, right? But stick with me, because the answer reveals something absolutely fascinating about what really makes us well.
Okay, so to even begin to answer that, we first have to tear down a really common idea about health. You know, we tend to think of it as just a bunch of numbers on a chart. Your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your weight. But what if that's just like one tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle? What if the real definition of health is way broader than that?
And here it is. This is the modern official definition of health and well-being. And you'll notice right away, it's not just about not being sick. It's about a state of equilibrium across 5 key areas of your life: physical, social, emotional, mental, and spiritual. It's a much more complete, more, human way of looking at it.
So let's break that down a bit. I like to think of your well-being as this 5-part puzzle. Every single piece is crucial. If one is missing or doesn't quite fit, the whole picture just feels incomplete. So let's take a look at each of those pieces one by one.
All right, first up is physical well-being. This is the one we're all pretty familiar with, right? It's basically how well your body is working, your fitness, your nutrition, whether you're free from illness. You can think of it as the hardware of your health.
Then you've got your mental well-being. And if your body is the hardware, then your mind is definitely the software. This is all about your ability to think clearly, to process information, and use logic to make good decisions as you navigate this complicated world.
Next up, we have social well-being. And this one's huge because we are social creatures, right? We need to connect with other people. This is all about your ability to build meaningful relationships, to feel like you belong to a community, and to feel supported by the people around you. Now, emotional well-being. This is a little different from mental well-being. It's not so much about logic, it's all about your feelings. It's your ability to actually recognize what you're feeling, understand it, and then manage those emotions in a healthy way. This is really the bedrock of resilience.
And last but not least, there's spiritual well-being. And I want to be super clear here. This doesn't have to be about religion at all. It's really about having a sense of purpose, a set of values and beliefs that guide you. It's your why, the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning.
Okay, so we have these 5 essential pieces of the well-being puzzle. But what actually shapes them? What determines if those pieces are going to fit together nicely? Well, this brings us right back to that first big question about your zip code. Because the answer, it lies in the basic conditions of our daily lives. And a lot of those things are totally outside of our personal control.
Just look at this list. This right here is the real foundation of health. We're talking about things like peace, shelter, education, food, a stable income. These aren't nice-to-haves. They are the absolute prerequisites for health. If you don't have this solid foundation, trying to achieve that 5-part well-being we just talked about is, well, it's almost impossible. And here's the kicker. Your access to every single one of these things is so often determined by where you happen to live.
So check out this data. It shows that the biggest preventable risks for disease are things we often call lifestyle choices, like tobacco use or diet. But let's ask a serious question. Is it really just about individual choice? When your environment shapes your income, your education, and your stress levels, are these choices really choices at all? Or are they just symptoms of a much bigger system at play?
And that question brings us to this huge fork in the road in how we think about health. It's really a clash of 2 completely different philosophies. Do we just keep focusing on fixing people after they get sick? Or do we start focusing on fixing the systems that are making them sick in the first place?
This slide really breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you have the traditional biomedical model. Think of this as the mechanic. They are incredible at fixing your car after you've crashed. They use high-tech tools, doctors, technology, medicine to patch you up. But on the other side, you have the social model. This is the architect or the city planner. Their job isn't to fix the crashed car. It's to design safer roads, better traffic lights, and clearer signs to prevent the crash from ever happening at all.
And it's this architect's approach, the social model, that really gives us a blueprint for building a healthier world. It's a massive shift in thinking. We move away from just treating sickness and instead focus on proactively building well-being for everyone by making sure we all have access to those foundational building blocks of a healthy life.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. There's a real plan for it.
It's called the Ottawa Charter, and it lays out 5 key actions. Things like building healthy public policy, think seatbelt laws or smoke-free spaces, creating supportive environments like safe parks and walkable neighborhoods, strengthening community action, developing personal skills through education, and finally, shifting our healthcare services to focus more on prevention. This is what that architect model looks like in the real world.
You know, Mahatma Gandhi said it perfectly. It is health that is real wealth and not pieces of gold and silver. And he was talking about this kind of health, that full, 5-dimensional well-being. It truly is the most valuable thing any of us or any society can ever have.
So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. Put on your architect's hat for a second. What is the single healthiest change your community could make? What's the one thing that would make it easier for everyone to be well? Is it a new park, a better bus system, maybe a community garden? Whatever it is, that's where real health begins. Thanks for joining me.